presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. The trip to Charlotte, a good one for the Rockets. They open up the post-All-Star break portion of the schedule with a 4-point victory, 105-101, get to 34-20 on the season, make their way to New York after this one. Who put them to bed tonight? Well, of course, it was Kevin Durant. Put him to bed, presented by Texas Mattress Makers. Calvin, he checked in with about 4.5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. The last 10 points scored by the Rockets, all from KD.
Yeah, and he got them all by taking quality shots. See, that's the biggest key you got to understand when you're when you're trying to stay ahead or catch up with under 4 minutes. You want to get something out of every possession. So what does he do? He eliminates the three-point shot. He uses his size and the length of those long arms to get as close to the basket as possible and shoot over his defender. And he was able to hit all of them for 35 points.
And Charlotte knows who's getting the ball, knows who's taking the shot. And sometimes it just doesn't matter.
But not sometimes, all the time it doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is, when the Rockets can spread the floor, get him the ball in the middle, there's very few people that can stop his jumper. First of all, he's 7 foot tall with long arms. You're not going to get the shot. So what you allow him to do to get in his area and pull up and take that jumper.
4 shots taken, 4 shots made, and obviously at the end of the game, as he was attempting to get open, you're not allowed to hug KD.
This is bear hugging. You kidding me?
Just get him the ball.
Smokey the Bear got a bear hug on him.
Get him fouled. And make your free throws.
And that's who you want to have the ball going down the stretch anyway to get to that foul line.
2-point game into a 4-point game, and the Rockets get the 4-point victory, avenge the loss to Charlotte 2 weeks ago Thursday at Toyota Center, and have now won 3 of their last 4. Get to 34-20 as mentioned. Adam Wexler alongside the Hall of Famer Calvin Murphy here on Rockets Postgame. This is the kind of win you want to open up the second part of the schedule with it. Not easy. Had to fight them off in the first quarter, like KD said, with Vanessa, and they played much better defense the more the game was played.
Well, what they did, obviously, to start the game off with, they weathered the storm. They beat the Rockets in the Toyota Center. They were confident. They came out stroking, but the Rockets kept their composure. They tightened up their defense, was able to get ahead. The rest was history.
Able to get ahead, building the largest lead of the game there in the fourth quarter. Obviously, probably got a little tighter than they would have liked, but KD there to make sure they got the answers, held the Hornets to under 40% shooting in the second half and just 25% from behind the three-point line. Made a big difference when you look back at what happened in the first meeting. Time for Fun Can't Lose, presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. We just got done, Calvin, or just got started talking about their defense, and they got started with their defense. They said, hey, Charlotte, welcome to the block party.
You know, so often when I'm talking to our Rockets fans, I'm trying to do a little teaching. And this was a good teaching film right here because we talk about where the block shots come from. Block shots come from the weak side. The weak side sliding over, supporting as much as possible. And in the first half, they were able to get 8 block shots. So what did that do? That changed the complexities of people wanting to take the ball to the basket.
5 different Rockets getting those 8 blocks. KD with 3, 8 different Rockets with 15 steals tonight against the Hornets.
15 steals. That means defensively, you're getting those quick hands in when you have a lot of traffic around there, dislodging the ball from your opponent. You know, I want to take time to give Reece Sheppard credit defensively also. There was 3 times on fast breaks that he broke it up with his quick hands, knocking the ball, he dislodged the ball twice and stole it 1 time. When they had sure layups going to the basket, I don't know if they saw him or not, but all of a sudden he was there.
Yeah, stole the ball and went all the way down the court and went up against the tallest of trees for the Hornets, Kalkbrenner, but got into his chest and was able to put in the layup. He got a big game both sides of the floor. The Rockets have only had 3 games all year, Calvin, where they've had 15 steals or more. 2 of them are against the Hornets. Ime Udoka talking about this big win after tonight's game.
Okay, what's the level of physicality? I think we were blitzing quite a bit early, going after their main handlers and open up some threes for some guys we want to make prove it. And that led to that 33-point first quarter. Went more traditional. I got downhill a little bit, and so we went to a small lineup where we switched everything. It was great on and off ball, physicality, and then the spacing around our guys was really good. So first for the open threes and the kickouts, and obviously had a big part to do with that 19-point second quarter. But yeah, it was going with the regular, Clinton a little bit, and then we knew we had that in our back pocket to go back to in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, there have been a few times this year where you've been upset about how your team started the fourth quarter and how you kind of had to rush KD back in. Tonight, you didn't put him back in until like less than 5 minutes left. How important was that for you guys?
Yeah, it was great. It was, I think we defended at such a high level in the second half, to hold them to 101 there. And big part of that was that guys found a rhythm, got out in transition. We got 16-8 against a team that likes to get out and run. So as long as we can maintain the lead, we extended in that case tonight. And buy minutes for some of the starters who play heavy minutes is always a great thing. And so we're going to need that. Can't have him and Alperen and certain dudes on the court all the time. And you need others to step up, and we're confident they will. And they're waiting for that opportunity.
And I think the final number ended up being 15 steals for you guys. How much were you impressed by the aggression y'all were playing with on defense?
Yeah, it was great from the beginning. We had, 8 blocks in the first half. Kevin has 6 or 3 of those. Our rotations were, for the most part, on point outside of the blitzes. And so activity was great all night. Like I said, they made some threes from some guys we're willing to live with. And then we kind of settled in there, but stayed the course. They made some highlight reel plays and, nice passes, dunks, kick out threes. And we just kept chugging along and kind of broke that will a little bit. And so our activity was great. The steals, blocks, that shows that.
You talk about activity. It seemed like some of what Dorian Finney-Smith did tonight did not show up in the box score. He was extremely active. What did you like about his minutes and his entire game? Yeah, that he was a big part of the small ball unit that, could switch a lot. He's very vocal and heady as far as that on the defensive end. Like I always say, the rhythm and legs are going to come back. He's going to make some more of those shots. He missed a few, but hit 1 or 2. But just allows us to have that versatility with either him or Jay Sean at the 5 and switching everything. And you can see they had a lot of late shot clock shots and a few violations there due to that switching. He was a big part of that.
Another game where the teams put the big on him and then sagged off. You guys got to that DHO with him handling a bunch of times. What'd you like about that look? What'd you see from it overall?
Yes, it's certain things. He's going to have the ball in a lot of different areas. So we kind of, put a highlight film together of him as a handler, him as a screener, him and the dunker in certain spacing, and him and the dunker in the corners, and just when he's bringing it up like he does, and there's nothing there, we got to get to the second action quicker. And I think his recognition of that was better tonight, but also his screening. We looked at some of the angles, him letting guys get through, and he set a lot of great screens tonight and allowed Kevin and Reed and those guys to come off and Jabari to come off and get great looks. And so, he's a guy that plays with a crazy amount of pace that he can get up there and set those. You have to play with a certain level of physicality, but it's a lot of what he did his first and second year.
What specifically was different about the angle?
He a lot of times he's really moving out of the way or letting them blow the screens up. For him, it's we want to make the guys chase over. They were getting under, so his angle, he has to change his body position, feet position, and make them chase over. The bigs have to step up, or a lot of in this case they stayed back and basically free throw line level. And Kevin, those guys could walk into shots, but eventually they're going to move up, setting great screens, and he can get in the pocket. And you saw that a little bit there. So, like I said, I showed him 50 clips of previous games and how he let some guys get through and how he set really good screens or slipped out, and something he's learning on the fly as well. It's been a while. He hasn't done as much this year, but something he's done in the past and he's really good at.
I kind of walked in on his question, but I have a similar but different question. Kevin is playing at his natural position more so in your system as the 3. Would you say that that transition from Phoenix to now helped him knowing both forward positions? And do you think with him knowing both forward positions, he's naturally offensively playing more like Oklahoma as opposed to his role in Phoenix?
Yeah, I would say he's played every position and he's pretty comfortable at all of them. I think for us, the fact that, Fred is out and, our young guys are learning on the fly, he's had to handle it at times more, which he's used to and comfortable doing. Turnover numbers are too high at times, but, swarming them and blitzing them quite a bit. But I think, whatever you want to call him, 2, 3, 4, whatever. And he's comfortable at all those and can use him basically the same in all those positions. But the fact that he can screen and people don't want to leave his body allows guys to free up and get downhill, or him handling and post up ISO. He can do all of the above. So I think he's obviously, the numbers show he's a very well-versed scorer.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Rockets get the 105-101 victory over the Hornets to start their post-All-Star break portion of the schedule. Much more coming here on Rockets Postgame here on Space City Home Network. Back here on Rockets Postgame, time for our Kia player profile. Jabari Smith Jr. Calvin, we talked about it a lot at the half and all throughout the night. He just kind of seemed like he was the guy in the right place, making the plays when they came to him.
Well, how many times do we have to label him the X factor? He's a fellow there's very little plays that are set for him. He kind of gets in where he fits in. He does a lot of the dirty work. If you're looking at him to score, he can do that. You look at him around the glass, he does a great job on that. Defensively, he can play 3 positions. He's done a nice job on that. He handles the ball. He does everything that is necessary without being one of the key offensive ball players.
Yeah, very smooth night for Jabari. You see here in our starting 5 box score, just 9 shots needed to get those 15 points for Jabari, 6 and 9 from the floor, 7 boards. Amen Thompson, a little bit more of an all-around game as well without going 4 steals certainly will help. And that's where really everybody doing a little bit of something on a night where Kevin Durant was carrying the scoring load.
You know, it's nice being on the floor, obviously, with the Kevin Durant that can carry the bulk of the load. But nevertheless, the defense has got to respect the other players around him in order for him to get his. And now, when they see that a person like Jabari Smith is having the kind of game that he's having, they've got to stay home with him. They cannot come off of him to help out. Because if they do, the first thing that Kevin's going to do is find Jabari. And Jabari has gotten a lot of confidence in that 3-point shot now.
Yeah, 2 of 3 on the night for Jabari Smith Jr. behind that 3-point line. KD had 4 assists in the game. Obviously, the Rockets made more than enough of their shots to take home this 105-101 victory to kick off this short road trip and begin the second part of the season. 14 games over 500 for the Rockets. They've been there 3 times. Saturday night, another opportunity for the first time to get 15 games over 500. More Rockets postgame presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors still to come. A 9-point night for Amen Thompson, Calvin. This time here with defense draped all over him. A little deceleration finish and harm.
You know, another one of those players that does not have to have large numbers to be effective in the game. But when he gets a chance to go to the basket, you know, he's strong enough to fight off the defenders and clever enough to get up and over and strong enough to make the basket after being snatched.
Yeah, you see there, P.J. Hall smacked the ball out of his right hand. He was strong enough to keep control of it and finish.
You know, the fact of the matter was that he got them all out of position. First of all, they had to reach back and smack and grab at him to try to stop him from making that layup.
Very much a Top Gun move. We'll put the brakes on and they'll fly right by and finish and hit the free throw. Big part of the Rockets' effort tonight as they get the 105-101 victory. End their season series by getting a little payback on the Hornets, who beat them in Houston 2 weeks ago tonight. They get the 105-101 victory. More from the Rockets' victory coming up on Rockets Postgame.